left, love.
Left? Roland, you're not even dressed. What's the matter? Aren't you well?
Flexi time.
Am I supposed to know what you're talking about?
Any more tea in the pot?
Roland, it's 25 to 9 on a Monday morning. Now, if we were driving out of our garage right now, I'd be at work on time. But we're not, so I won't.
Well, that's why I thought you'd gone. It's not like you to be late, love. Are you all right?
You mean apart from this severe case of confusion?
Any more tea? You haven't finished all the tea, have you, love?
Roland, it's time to go to work.
It's flexi time, love. I told you last night.
Well, I don't remember you telling me anything last night.
It was when you were watching the television.
Oh, Roland, really, you can't expect me to listen to you when I'm watching One Man and His Dog. You know I find that very absorbing.
It was when those 3 sheep disappeared into that bush.
Well, what a time to choose to tell me. I thought he'd never get those sheep down that hill.
Anyway, I did tell you. We're experimenting with flexible working hours. And the only time the Weights and Measures Department can get computer access this week is between 8:15 and 8:45 this morning.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Roland, but you've missed it.
Cyril's doing it. He's working 8 till 4, so I'll be doing 10 till 6.
10 till 6? Then you won't be able to bring me home either.
That's what I said last night. Just after the sheep came out of the bush and before they fell into the stream.
I don't like this, Roland. I don't like it at all.
It's progress, love. The Weights and Measures Department is stepping into the 20th century.
And I'm stepping onto public transport. We bought that car for both of us, you know, not so as you could ride around in isolated splendour.
What you need, love, is flexible working hours.
At Blake's?
Why not?
The last time they had a change at Blake's was when they gave them the day off to celebrate the relief of mafficking.
It's the first time I've ever got here before, Elsie. I hope she's all right.
I admire people who are always on time. I'm either late or early, or I get there on the wrong day.
Get where?
Anywhere I'm going, except I never go anywhere.
Morning.
Oh, you're here. I was getting a bit worried about you.
Why, has Mr. Blake been asking for me?
No, it's just you're never late.
Must be wonderful, that, to never be late.
Well, I'm late this morning, Mrs. Tibbet, aren't I? Due to a policy change at the Weights and Measures Department, which is threatening to disrupt my entire lifestyle.
Oh, I wish I could have reasons like that. Whenever I'm late, it's always because I've overslept.
I do hope nobody's going to tax my patience this morning. I'm not in the best of moods.
Oh, well, I think I'll come back later. I've got to have a look at my mother's back gate.
Back gate? Not thinking of exhibiting it at the Tate Gallery, are you?
No, the hinges are rusty. She can't open it properly and it won't close.
Hardly adequate enough for its purpose.
Yes, I think a gate should do one thing or the other.
What are you here for anyway, Mrs. Tibbet?
She's come about
I've
the
come
poems.
about the poems.
But I can't find
We can't
them. I
find
thought they were
them.
on your
Thought
desk.
they was
but
on
they're
your
not there.
desk, but they're not there.
Mr. Blake still got them.
Oh, well, I will come back later.
No, Mrs. Tibbet, wait a moment. Sharon can go in and ask for them now, and then you won't need to come back.
All right.
Thank you very much. I don't mind coming back.
No, I know you don't, Mrs. Tibbet. We seem to be on your beaten track to everywhere. Last time you managed to drop in and see us, it was on the way from your house to the house next door, and you live 2 miles away.
I like your hair. You've grown it.
No, Mrs. Tibbet, I've had it cut last week.
Well, never mind. It'll soon grow again.
Hey, you won't believe it. He wants to buy one.
What?
He wants to buy one. The house-moving one. You know, the daft one about old friends but a new fireside. He said it sounded like an advert for gas fires.
He wants to buy it?
Yes.
Oh, are you all right, Mrs. Tibbet? Sharon, get a chair. I think she's in shock.
Oh, I've sold a poem. I've sold a poem, you know.
Yes, I know that, Mrs. Tibbet. Now try and calm down. I know it's been a bit of a shock. Oh! In fact, it's been a shock to us all.
I'm a success. I've sold a poem. I've sold a poem after 40 years.
40 years?
Yes, I've been writing poetry for 40 years, and this is the first time I've ever sold one.
40 years?
Yes, it's a very humbling thought. In fact, it's almost taken my mind off flexible working hours.
Tommy, come here a minute.
Was it a voice or the rumble of guns on the Western Front?
Come here, Tommy.
Can't have been a voice, didn't say please.
Please, Tommy, would you kindly step this way?
Mr. Crabtree, good morning, and what can I do for you?
All you ever do for me is give me indigestion.
Stanley, I have come all the way over here from all the way over there. The least I can expect is a kind word.
Yes, well, I can think of a few words for you, Tommy. But they must all be Russian, because they all end enough.
Is that any way to improve industrial relations, Sunbeam?
There's only one thing that could improve industrial relations round here right now, and that is the sound of your machine running.
Sorry, Stanley, it's treble O.
Treble O?
3 big zeros.
Eh?
Thrice naught.
Thrice naught? Sounds like a dart player's nightmare. What are you talking about, Tommy?
Oh, Stanley, out of order.
Out of order? There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, yes, it is.
What?
It's not going.
No, it's not going. But why?
It's got a screw loose.
Don't tempt me, Tommy. Don't tempt me. Look, that batch of 2-colour letterheads is a 6-hour run and it's a rush order.
Calm down, Stanley. Remember your indigestion. I reckon by about 2 o'clock this afternoon I'll get her going again.
2 o'clock? That means it won't be ready till 8.
By heck, you're good at sums, Stanley.
Yes, that means 2 hours at time
and a half.
I hope Mrs. Tibbet will be all right. She left here in her right days.
Of course, when it comes to Mrs. Tibbet being in her days, it's only a matter of degree.
Fancy Mr. Blake buying one of her poems.
Yes, I wonder if it signals the onset of senility.
Are they all as bad as these? Your days will be bright and sunny. Your nights will never be cold. If your new fireside holds a welcome and the friends around it are old.
Sounds like a motto for the Derby and Joan Club.
I wish she would write them on paper bags from cake shop, though. It's bad enough having to read them without getting sticky as well.
Sharon, could you type this out for me, please? Mr. Brakes promised to read it when he takes it home tonight.
What is it?
Well, I'm putting forward a case, and putting it forward very succinctly, I might add, for flexible working hours.
What do you mean?
Well, we call it flexi-time. It's a system used by a lot of companies now. It means we each decide when we start and finish work, as long as we put in the required number of hours each week.
You mean I can start when I like and finish when I like?
As long as it balances out at the end of the week.
Hey, it'd be great, that. I'd never be late, would I?
Well...
And if I was, nobody'd know.
Well, that's hardly the object of the exercise, Sharon.
I could work through my dinner hour on Wednesdays and Thursdays and go home early on Fridays.
Yes, well, Mr. Blake might not want
And I could swing it so as I didn't come in on Monday mornings at all.
Seems such a good idea when I thought about it on the bus.
He's a right so-and-so these days, that Stanley Crabtree. I wasn't asking for the day off. I only wanted to finish an hour early. I mean, it's no skin off his nose, is it? Sure, he's been dead rotten to me ever since my husband duffed him up that time.
Well, he did end up with 2 loose teeth, a cracked lip and bruised ribs.
That's right. It's not as though he were badly hurt, is it? I can't stand blokes who hold a grudge.
Well, you shouldn't have been mucking about with him, should you?
I don't know what to saw in him anyway. I must have been on the rebound from that gingerhead lad down at the co-op.
You were dicing with death there as well, weren't you? That ginger ale lad was a good 10 years younger than you.
Was he, Come on, 22.
22? You've been 22 since 1975.
Age is all in the mind.
In the mind? It keeps slipping yours.
Hey, Beryl.
I love.
Have you got a teaspoon, Ivy?
Well, of course I have. What do you think I stir me tea with, a Kirby grip?
Mr. Blake wants to take his cough medicine.
Here. And bring it back.
I thought you were going having your hair done.
He won't let me go early, will he? Rotten old Crabtree.
What you need is flexi time. We're going to have that in the office.
Well, yell's flexi time when it's at home.
Oh, it's great. It means you can do what you like.
Do what you like. When we going to have that, then?
You're not. It's only for office staff. Elsie's negotiating with Mr. Blake. She thinks he'll agree.
Only for office staff? Oh, no. If you can have it, us girls in packing room can have it. I'll make sure of that. I'm their spokesperson.
Spokesperson?
It means big mouth.
Elsie, I'm home.
Hello? You both starving?
Both?
Stephen, if you've got your football boots, can you take them through to the kitchen?
Where is he?
Who?
Stephen.
Well, didn't he come in with you?
No, he's not with me.
Didn't you pick him up?
No.
Well, why ever not? We pick him up from your mother's every night, don't we, Roland? You know perfectly well I won't have him coming home to an empty house.
Well, I thought you'd pick him up.
Me? Well, I'd have had to take 2 buses to get to your mother's, Roland.
Oh, heck.
Oh, really? It'll be gone 7 before he's back. She'll have fed him a whole packet of chocolate biscuits, and I've got steak and kidney pudding in the kitchen.
Steak and kidney pud?
Not until you've been to your mother's and collected Stephen.
Ah, yes. All right, love.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I shall have to make sure Mr. Blake accepts the flexible working hours. It's making a mockery of our budget, all this travelling about separately.
Takes up half the night as well.
And if she offers you a chocolate biscuit, don't you dare accept.
Here, what's all this talk about flexing things?
You what?
They're talking about it all over packing shop, flexing their hours, coming in when they like and going home when they like. You know what that is, don't you?
What?
Anarchy.
Get away. It'll never happen. It's a storm in a teacup.
Well, it'll make a few storms in your teacups if it does happen.
Aye, why's that?
Well, if they're going to start coming in at all sorts of hours, they're going to want their cups of tea and coffee at all sorts of hours, aren't they?
All sorts of hours? I'm not changing the times of my rounds just to suit them. I don't do this job for their benefit.
There you are, then. Told you, didn't I? Anarchy.
I think it'll be great. I'll come in about 10 on Mondays, or perhaps 11. I'll have a long dinner hour on Tuesdays so I can go round to my grand's. I'll go home early on Fridays.
You're supposed to be talking about flexible working hours, not a part-time job.
I'd be here when I was needed.
Here? When you were needed? Well, now you're talking about a miracle.
Well, what did he say?
He's agreed, Sharon. We're on flexi time as from now.
Great, well, I'll just go round to my grand's for half an hour.
Mr. Blake wants you in his office now.
Oh,
Yes, he's got a lot of letters to do this morning.
what happened to flexi time?
It lasted 10 seconds.
It's not going to be as good as I thought, this.
It's the shattering of a youthful illusion.
I don't think she fully understands the system yet.
Precisely who does it relate to, this new system of yours?
The office staff, Stanley. Only the office staff.
Ah, so I can choose my own hours
No, I
as
said
long as...
the office staff, Stanley. You are factory staff.
Then what am I doing sitting here?
I often ask myself that. Ike Hepworth said the previous factory manager had a desk in the corner of the stock room.
He had a wooden leg and a ferret in a cage, but that's no reason why I
Anyway, in order to operate a flexi-time system, Sharon and I need special timesheets. Now, I've designed these myself, and I'd like you to print them up in pads of, say, 100.
should. Yeah, well, not before next month, I hope.
Next month, I'd like them by Friday.
Friday? Not a cat and else chance.
Colour block proofs.
Oh, tough. Oh, Tommy, Elsie'd like some timesheets printed up by Friday.
Friday.
Not a man to waste words, our Tommy.
With his vocabulary, he can't afford to.
Is there out left?
Depends what you want.
A bun.
No.
Oh, a fella could starve to death here.
You had a sausage sandwich an hour ago.
Well, it's me metabolics.
You what?
Me metabolics. Them things what tell you whether you're fat or thin.
Have you heard of metabolics?
Metabolics? Is it like aerobics?
Well, don't ask me. He reckons they make you fat or thin.
That's right. It depends on your metabolics, whether you're fat or thin.
Oh, your metabolism. Your metabolism controls the rate at which your digestive system handles what you eat. You see, some people require much more food than others to keep going. Did you know a shrew can starve to death in an afternoon?
It would if it worked here.
Have a chocolate biscuit.
I don't want a chocolate biscuit.
There's no pleasing some folks.
Ivy, I just popped in to say I shall be taking a long lunch hour today and working later this evening. So I'd like my afternoon tea a bit later than usual, if you don't mind.
I do mind.
You do?
I do my afternoon round at 3 o'clock. Take it or leave it. I won't be messed about.
I told you. Anarchy.
Elsie were dead annoyed. She said the tea lady's there for the benefit of the workers.
Oh, I bet that went down like a lead balloon with Ivy.
She didn't seem too keen on it.
So what time's Elsie getting her tea then?
Same time as usual.
Round 1 to Ivy.
Elsie says just because you've lost a battle, it doesn't mean you lose the war.
Well, I'm going in to see Blake when I get back. If you can have flexible working hours, I don't see why we can't. It'd be dead convenient for me to finish early some afternoons. I could fit in a driving lesson.
When you're taking your test?
There's no rush.
Well, you've been having lessons for 6 months.
Yeah, I know. We never seem to get any further than backing into that little alleyway behind the viaduct.
Don't you wonder why it's taking you so long to learn to drive?
Mick thinks women are too stupid to learn how to drive. He hasn't figured out yet that this one isn't as daft as she looks.
Who's teaching you? That bloke from Anderson Street?
Yeah.
He looks a bit like Burt Reynolds, doesn't he?
Yeah. I reckon it's going to take me at least another 6 months before I learn to drive.
Can you hear anything?
Good gracious.
What is it?
I just heard her laugh. I've never heard Mr. Blake say anything funny.
Me neither.
Oh, she's a troublemaker, that one. It's ridiculous to expect packers to have parity with office workers. Mr. Blake won't allow it. He's not a man to be swayed by someone like Beryl Wainwright. Now, I did warn you, Beryl. You can't expect the sort of concessions allowed to office workers, not as a packer, dear.
We've got him. We're all on flexi time now.
What?
He was so impressed with the case you put forward, Elsie. He's going to introduce the system all through the factory.
Good God.
He said you'd organise special timesheets for everybody and tell us how to fill them in.
Did he indeed?
Hey, till you've got them, I'll tell all girls in packing room to write down their hours on bits of paper, should I?
Bits of paper?
Burt Reynolds, here I come.
Burt Reynolds? She wants flexible working hours so she can waste her time sitting in cinemas, I presume.
Not exactly.
Do you realise what this means, Sharon?
It probably means there'll be nobody here on Monday morning.
It means that I shall have to work out all these individual timesheets. It's going to take me hours longer to do the wages. And if the printing shop boys have the system too, it'll take me days.
It'll mean a lot more work, won't
Oh,
it?
I hadn't anticipated this. All I wanted was to drive to work with Roland. And now suddenly I've got to introduce a totally new wages system to the whole factory. It's impossible.
Right, what's going on?
Tommy, just for once, couldn't you endeavour to be polite?
I'm not feeling polite. A very ugly rumour has upset my rather sensitive nature.
What's up, Uncle Tommy?
I have heard a phrase I don't like, Sharon.
A request to work, perhaps?
Flexible working hours is what I have heard.
Oh, no, not you lot, too.
I don't like things being done behind my
Oh,
back.
I'll be here till midnight.
I am the shop steward here, and what I say goes.
I'll need a
And
computer
what
to
I
work it all
say
out.
is, flexible working hours will
Adding
play
hours
up with
on,
a very good system
taking
of
hours
overtime.
off, trying to work it out every
I'm not going to
minute.
allow it.
I'll never be able
If
to...
he tries to enforce it, I am bringing them
I'll
out.
just
I'm
have to
warning
find
you, I
another
am
job.
bringing them out.
Bringing them out?
On strike.
On strike?
It would cost us hundreds of pounds a year if we lose our time and half payments. If we're here after 6 o'clock, we want to be paid in money. We don't want time off in lieu. What the hell use is a few hours off to me?
You could give driving lessons.
You're right, Tommy. You'd be far worse off. I wouldn't put up with it if I were you. I think you should tell Mr. Blake very clearly that the system couldn't possibly work for the factory staff.
That is exactly what I have come in here to do.
It is. Well, I must say I was very surprised at you letting Beryl Wainwright do her own negotiating. She shouldn't have gone over your head. After all, you are the shop steward.
That's very true, Elsie.
Mr. Blake's on his own at this very moment, Tommy. Now, why don't you go in there and put your case to him? I'm sure a man of your subtle abilities could sway his decision.
Do you know you're a very reasonable woman, Elsie? I'm surprised that you and I don't agree on things more often.
I can't imagine, Tommy. Not a bad sort, your uncle, really.
I thought you couldn't stand sight of him.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
You usually do.
Get him off, it's official.
You what?
Your overalls. Get him off. We're on strike.
Who says?
Tommy Wallace. He's just been in to see Jim Blake, who told him that everybody's got to give this flexi thing a try. Blake told him it might help production if everybody was working the hours they fancied.
Working the hours they fancied? You know what this is, don't you? Anarchy.
Hey, what the heck's going on? Is there a fire drill or something?
We're on strike.
Strike? Oh, hell's fire. I've only been out for 2 hours and total chaos has set in.
Hey, that's my job. I don't like folk touching my urn.
Oh, let him do it. You're on strike. Come on, get your overalls off, I've told you.
I don't have to take my overalls off.
Of course you do. That's a badge of office. Now get them off.
I don't like.
Well, get them off and come and down join us on the picket line.
Well...
Oh, by heck, Ivy. You're supposed to be going on strike, not making a video nasty. Get them back on again.
It was terrible. Tommy Wallace came out of that office purple in the face, and within 15 minutes the entire workforce was out in the factory yard.
But I thought you said that some of them wanted flexible hours.
Well, they do, but they're going on strike against the others, who are striking against them wanting flexible working hours.
So some of them are striking against the strike, and the others are striking against the ones who are striking against the strike.
Well, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
I mean, the only people left working were Stanley, Sharon and me. And we had to run the gauntlet of the pickets to get out in the evening. It's an experience I shan't forget in a hurry.
Well, somebody will have to back down.
That's rather obvious, Roland, if you don't mind my saying so, and I'd love another cup of coffee if you're on your way to the kitchen.
The kitchen? Well, I'm not... Yes, dear. All right, I'll make you one.
Time you going to work tomorrow?
Usual time.
Well, you haven't got a usual time now you've got flexible working hours.
Oh, I meant to tell you, they scrapped it.
Scrapped?
More trouble than it was worth.
Oh, I'm living through a nightmare.
See you later. Hiya.
Oh, good morning.
I'm Beryl.
Hello, Beryl.
Thank you, Roland. You can pick me up at 5.
Oh.
See you later. I see being on strike hasn't affected your hobby, Beryl.
I like to keep in practice.
Blackleg?
Don't be ridiculous, Tommy.
Sorry, Eugene. Nothing personal.
Who's that lad?
Eugene. He's an apprentice.
His hat looks as if it ought to have a teapot under it.
His brother. He's a Rastafarian.
My cousin Muriel were one of those.
A Rastafarian?
Or was it a Rosicrucian?
It's awful, isn't it? What we're going to do?
Well, I don't think there's much point in applying for the Queen's Award to industry.
Hello. Can I come in for a minute?
As if we didn't have enough to cope with.
No, I was that excited about selling that poem last Monday that I went straight home and wrote some more.
Oh, no. How many?
26.
Mrs. Tibbet, you can't expect Mr. Blake to buy one every week. You'd be much safer looking on that as a flash in the pan.
Oh, I do, but I enjoy writing them. There they all are. And some of them are just as good as that one he's bought.
Yeah, they're sticky as well, aren't they?
Well, I better get back downstairs to the others.
Others? Well, you can't be on strike, Mrs. Tibbet. You don't work here.
I'm a flying ticket. No, Mr. Wallace asked me to do it as a special favour to him.
Why should you do Tommy Wallace a favour?
Said he'd mend my mother's back gate.
I call that corruption.
Hey, I've done my own placard.
Workers of the world unite, stand up now for what is right. We will not have flexi time. 8 till 6 is still sublime. Well, the factory staff don't work 8 till 6, Mrs. Tibbet. They work 8:45 till 6.
I know, but that doesn't scan, does it?
One doesn't meet many people like that in a lifetime.
We meet her often enough.
Well, meanwhile, what are we going to do about this present crisis?
Well, I will tell you precisely what we're going to do. You are going to go and check out Tommy Wallace's machine now that he's out of the way.
Good idea.
And I'm going to tell Mr. Blake that after further research, my original theory on flexi-time has proved a trifle misleading. Look, extensive tests in this country and America have proved that far from increasing productivity, it actually decreases it, and that people work harder within a rigid structure.
Is that true?
Can you prove it isn't?
I usually have a sausage sandwich about this time.
I could murder a cup of tea.
I'm starving. My metabolics are rumbling.
My feet are killing me. Standing around like this is harder work than pushing that trolley.
Couldn't you nip in and make a quick brew and make me a sausage sandwich at the same time?
Could I heckers like? I'm on strike, you daft beggar.
It's great, this. Better than school.
University of Life, Elvis.
It's our Sharon.
Uncle Tommy.
Aye?
Elsie says, can you go up to the office for a minute, please?
Oh. Ready to negotiate, are they?
She's had a word with Mr. Blake.
Right.
And you, Harold Elvis, what are you doing here?
I'm in the great University of Life.
Well, it's lucky for you there's no entrance exam. Else you'd even fail that.
I'm in training here when I leave school.
And what are you going to be when you leave school? Except still thick.
I'm going to be a flying picket. It's great. You just hang about, you know, messing around, like, causing trouble.
Well, I never thought we'd find anything suited to your talents, Elvis Wilkes. But that's it, if ever I heard it. Now you're going back to school. Shut up!
It took all my powers of persuasion, Ivy, but I finally got Mr. Blake to drop the whole idea.
It didn't seem to make no difference to me anyway.
Well, of course, I had to make a personal sacrifice. Flexible working hours would have been very convenient for me. However, we are running a democratic company here, and I felt it my duty to go along with the majority decision.
Stand well back, Ivy. She's after the OBE.
Well, the only one still muttering about it is that Beryl Wainwright. She were all for staying out, but the other girls had had enough. And when I said if they wanted coffee, they had to come inside to get it, they went in like a shot.
Oh, poor Beryl. She was looking forward to her extra driving lessons.
Driving lessons? She'd be a menace in a car on the road, that one.
She wasn't planning to be on the road, just in the car.
Stanley, this rush order for Monday.
Yes?
Be ready Wednesday.
Wednesday? But that's 2 days late.
Best I can do, that machine's a bit dodgy.
It's nothing of the sort. I checked it over while you were on strike.
You touched my machine.
Yes. No. Oh.
It is not your place to touch that machine, Stanley. I could have them all out again for that.
Oh, look, Tommy, I only looked at it. I didn't use it.
I wouldn't try that again if I were you, Stanley. You having tampered with that delicate machinery, that order could take till Friday now.
Friday?
Well, a lot of things to take into consideration. Industrial disputes,
Look, Tommy,
unqualified hands touching the machinery.
This is an important order for a new customer. If we get it out for Monday night, it'd mean a lot more work coming our way. Now, why don't you compare that with a spectre of redundancy?
You're right. As a favour to Jim Blake for backing down, I can afford to be magnanimous in victory. Tell you what I'll do for you, Stanley. I will do my utmost, my very utmost, to make sure that order is out on time. Of course, it will mean...
Time and a half.